we have another new brand in the electric vehicle market, and while it's coming through with a little bit of a quietish launch, I think this is one we should really take seriously as being one of the few brands that might get a little bit close to delivering something like a Tesla. Introducing the Leap Motor C10. So what is a Leap Motor? Well, even by Chinese standards, Leap Motor is a relatively new brand, only launching in 2015. But it has some huge backing, having partnered with Stellantis Group. Stellantis, of course, is Peugeot, Citroën, Fiat, Jeep. It's a massive global conglomerate of brands, and they have done a deal to distribute Leap Motor around the world. Now, at early impressions, this actually looks like a small SUV, but it's not. It's actually a medium to large SUV. Now, one of the reasons it looks smaller than it really is, I mean, for a start, because it's black, that'll do that, but also those wheels, those are 20-inch alloy wheels. So size-wise, this is bigger in some dimensions than a Mitsubishi Outlander, or definitely bigger than a Toyota RAV4, and pretty much around the measurements of a Tesla Model Y. Now, if we walk around the bonnet up here, there's no frunk under there, and it's a little bit weird because this is will be a PHEV in the future, so there'll probably be an engine under there at some point. But at the moment they have the inverter under the front and some of the hardware for the electrical system, but the motor's under the rear, so I still don't know why we couldn't have had a frunk up there. Now we have LED headlights, we have down here active grille shutters, so it can open and close the shutters in the grille depending on how much cooling it needs for its systems, but also maintaining better aerodynamics. And interesting with the aerodynamics for a city-focused family SUV is these big aero pass-throughs. They do actually run through to provide some aero. Now, there's a camera on the front, there are cameras on the wing mirrors, there's cameras down here on the side, and a camera up in the windscreen here. Has a lot of cameras, has a great surround view camera system, and that is also used as part of the level 2 driver assistance. And one thing I do like, and that is standard tinted windows on this single model specification. They have the one model and it comes with pretty much everything, the big wheels, the roof rails, the tinted windows. If we come around here, we have the charging port, CCS Type 2, but it's not that fast, 84 kilowatt of fast charging. That's a little bit mediocre now and really kind of in line with some of the smaller vehicles in the market. It does, however, have 11 kilowatt AC, and you do get vehicle to load functionality. Now, what is the battery? It's a 69.9 kilowatt hour LFP, 68 kilowatts usable with a 420 kilometer WLTP. And that WLTP is seriously genuine. Again, when we get to the drive section, we'll look at that. Now, if we come around to the boot, you got this big light bar around here. Again, these lights, C10 badging, and then you open the boot with the push of this button. The boot itself is really good. So I'll put the numbers up on screen. But again, more than a Toyota RAV4, up there with a Mitsubishi Outlander, but still behind a Tesla Model Y, depending on how you count it. We have a nice flat load floor here. We have some storage under the floor alongside the tire foam kit and those kind of things. We have a subwoofer back here. A really nice design load space too. Just really flat entry, really well lined, nice and squared off, and 3 tethers for car seats. Now with any luck, this won't be a problem for long, but at launch, the car comes with a card to open. You get the one card to open it. And people are like, well, you know, BYDs come with cars, blah, blah, blah. There's no keys. So the only thing you can do at the moment is go to the driver's door, tap the wing mirror to unlock, and then you're in. Now, why is that problematic? Well, I've already experienced this once. Imagine you've got your kid in your hand, you're walking up, it's raining, you've got to walk all the way around the car from whichever door you've got your kid in, usually it's the back passenger, to unlock there before you can get into the vehicle. Similarly, if you're unloading groceries or loading groceries. There is a fix coming though. There is an app coming, very much what we're used to seeing with Teslas. It's going to be one of the few cars in the market to offer full Bluetooth key operation. So you have your phone in your pocket, you walk up, it unlocks. Now let's have a look inside. Right, so jumping into the Leap Motor C10, you can very much see the Tesla influence in here. This is pretty much an entirely buttonless interior with the exception of the steering wheel. There is not a button anywhere else in this car. We have this kind of squared off a little bit steering wheel, nice metal trim on here. It feels cold all the time, so I wonder if there's actually real metal somewhere in there. Now there's controls in there for your driver assistance functions for these screens. There's two screens, a bit over 10 inches in front of you, and this 14.25 inch screen up here. The driver transmission controls and the adaptive cruise controls and lane keep controls on the stick here. So down for drive, up for reverse, park on the end, and then double tap it down to get into your various driver assistance modes. We have through here relatively nice surfaces and materials used. So we've got this kind of soft touch material up here and down there. Once you get beyond that though, it is some fairly cheap light plastic. Again, the dash, soft touch there, bit scratchy down the bottom. We have this kind of big hidden vent that runs across the full width of the vehicle here. Nice big cup holders. You've got a wireless charger here, a really big bin in the center console, and more cup holders here for the backseat passengers. The glove box itself, it's okay. The seats though are big and comfy. Now they are multi-way adjustable on the driver's side with memories. Steering is manually adjustable. The mirrors are electric, but you've got to do it through the screen. There is a massive, one of the biggest glass roofs I've seen outside of a Model Y in this vehicle as well. It's over 2 square meters of glass. Now let's talk about the infotainment system, and it's actually pretty reasonable. It runs a fairly powerful Snapdragon processor, which those in cell phone land or those interested in cell phones will understand. It's very snappy, very responsive, and pretty well designed as well. So you've got various apps at the moment. You've got the 360 surround view cameras. You have navigation, which I have found really good as well. You've got music attached to your various apps that are whatever you're going to use, and then you've got hotkeys there all the time for your climate control. So you've got dual zone climate control, you've got fan control, you can direct where the air is going on either side using your finger. Yeah, that works all really well. Now there will be Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but they're not here yet. We're hoping to see those in the future. Now you get 3 years of connectivity with the vehicle, 2.5 gigabytes a month is our understanding. You can do all your various things like set up your doors and windows and automatic opening and how high the tailgate goes. Pretty simple stuff. Charging wise, you can schedule charging, you can see your vehicle load features, that kind of thing on the car. Shift your range between dynamic and standard. When you get into the driving, you have a lot of choices here. So this vehicle will do 1 pedal mode, set your creep mode, hill descent, comfort stop, everything you can think of. ADAS, you've got just a huge list. I'm going to put up the list when we go driving in regards to what the driver assistance features are that are there. Lots of them, but they all need to be done by the screen. So you really need to set them before you leave. And one of the downsides to that is that it actually restricts you sometimes from what you can set. So for example, 1 pedal mode. If you use 1 pedal mode, great, that's good. But it locks you into whatever drive mode, so you've got eco, comfort, and sport, you were in at the start. And you can't turn it off while you're driving. So Leap Motor, please make it so you can switch in and out of 1 pedal mode on the move. And similarly, that if you are in 1 pedal mode, that you can change your drive mode from within that system. That's the front. Let's go check out the back. Now the back seat is where you really see the difference in size of the C10 to other vehicles in this price range. I'm a big guy. This seat is set for me to be well back in the car. And comfortable in the front, and I have so much room back here, and you've got lots of typical but nice touches like a nice armrest here. You've got USB charging. The USB-C chargers in this car are 60 watts. That's really good to see. The seats are really wide, comfortable and bolstered. I think you could squeeze 3 adults back here as well. Completely flat floor, plenty of load room. I could wear a big hat. You got nice touch reading lights there. It's huge. I can't fault the passenger space in this car. Right, let's take it for a drive. Right, so before we take this thing for a drive, let's just note that this thing has a lot of driver assistance features. Lane keep, lane centering, blind spot detection, forward collision alert, adaptive cruise control, pretty much everything you can think of. but they are still being fine-tuned for New Zealand. So we're going to reserve judgment on those for now until they've told us that they are fixed. But it means you might hear some bong. So, driving, it does have that transmission shifter over here like a Mercedes or like most Teslas up until recently. You get that underway. There's no start or stop button, it's just ready to go when you drive it. Now it does have a rather interesting sounding low speed warning noise, but of course once you get up to speed, after you're about 25 kilometers, that disappears, or 30 kilometers. Now it's rear wheel drive, 160 kilowatts and 320 newton meters of torque. That's not massive, but it's not bad. Gives you a 0 to 100 of 7.5 seconds. And on the open road, performance feels good, particularly in sport mode. It's, you know, reasonable pickup, reasonably zesty. Round town, plenty of power. It's just not got that sporty punch that a lot of people associate with electric vehicles. What it does do really well is the ride. It is a very comfortable ride. It's a little bit firmer than what I've seen with my BYD Atto 3, and I like that. The chassis feels very stiff, feels very confident on the road. It's a really good all-rounder from that perspective. Now, while we said we wouldn't talk too much about the systems, one thing that I have noted and I am pretty happy about is its performance on the motorway with its lane centering and its adaptive cruise. They work pretty well. To activate them, you double tap the transmission shifter. It does do a solid job of keeping the car in lane and keeping the car at a reasonable following distance to the car in front, though I haven't actually worked out yet an easy way to change the following distance, which is not ideal, but I'm sure I'll learn that in time. It's just something that's not intuitive with the car itself. This car will tow 1,500 kilograms of braked tow rating. Not massive in the world of mid-size SUVs, but not bad for an electric vehicle. Now, efficiency. This is something that I'm really pleased with the Leap motor, and it has an efficiency that I haven't really seen from a Chinese vehicle before. This is closer to the particularly the Hyundais than anything else. So round town, with normal driving, I was seeing as low as 14 to 15 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That is really impressive. Now on the open road, down from my home to Auckland today, so motorway, 100 kilometers an hour, up and over some fairly big hills, averaging about 18 to 19 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That's fantastic. And you take those two numbers and you could probably easily smash that 420 kilometer WLTP range. So overall, the Leap Motor C10, if you ignore the electronics for now, it's a really accomplished and really refined first product from a relatively new brand. So now it's hard to really judge the value of an electric car in New Zealand at the moment because there's so many specials out there. But taking the market at face value on list pricing, this thing is a bargain, $54,990. So that is kind of sitting in the middle of the actual list price of things like the Atto 3, not much more than a Motor E5, yet it's offering space equivalent to a Tesla Model Y, to bigger premium vehicles. That price is crazy. Now, there's a little bit of a niggle in there for me that it only comes with a 4-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty. Leap Motor, I do think, for a new brand where people still aren't quite sure of what the long-term proposition is going to be, that you need to match the likes of BYD and MG with their longer warranties. But still, you know, the battery warranty is 8 years, 100,000 Ks. It's not bad. So look, thanks for joining us. Thanks for hearing all about the Leap Motor C10. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more great reviews and content from us here.